Royal Trans Drama, ITV risks backlash as they plan new TV drama that will explore conspiracy theory that Queen Elizabeth I was trans.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Elephant in the mail. Historians are angry because ITV is set to cast a trans Elizabeth. This is Elizabeth I. I think it's too soon to do that with Elizabeth II.
You almost had me there. The ITV drama upcoming, they're going to spend a lot of money on this big period drama. We all love those, don't they? It's going to explore whether Queen Elizabeth was trans. Was she a bloke? I mean, really?
Oh my god!
I genuinely thought that this was an April Fool's joke when I first read the headline, but then I looked into it and realised this is actually happening.
I don't believe it!
Is there anything that isn't sacred?
No, I mean, what a grotesque farce. I mean, what's next? They're going to be putting a drama saying that Winston Churchill was a butch lesbian or something like that. I mean,
don't give them ideas, Ray.
That's right, the big fat lesbian. Yeah.
The Laughing Cavalier here, presenting to you another tale of these troubled times. And it's another unscripted video. And the times are indeed troubled this time. We're going to get onto that later. I'm just going to do some general non-Tudor stuff before we get to the main videos. I'll flash up on screen now with timestamps in post, if you want to just skip to the relevant sections. First things first, thanks everyone who's been watching the Napoleon review. Fairly happy with that. Not with all the copyright claims I got from Apple over it, but managed to fight that off, thankfully. But I think at the time of recording it's nearly 12,000 views, so that's good. Yeah, and obviously I have slowed up a little bit with videos. I was trying to do a video on King and Conqueror, but unfortunately it just didn't click, really. I couldn't find the time to really do a proper one on it. I did a live stream, and then I thought about trying to recut that as a video, and it just wasn't working. I could briefly address it now. If for anybody who doesn't remember King and Conqueror, that's the William the Conqueror series that the BBC did last year. It was really bad. The only thing I really wanted to read was just the costume designer. This was ridiculous. There's an article here. Margaret Einarsdottir, I think. He's Icelandic. It was never meant to be historically accurate. King and Conqueror's costume design reveals how the period outfits hold the key to the secret politics of the BBC drama. Here is the costumes, by the way. As you can see, all the secret politics held within leather and whatever crap this is. But it was this paragraph in particular. We didn't want them to be too different, because we are just people, and we are all one race. We are the human race, and then we are just killing each other, she concludes. And I think that's also something that's worth portraying somehow. Yep, in this drama about the Normans conquering England, we're all just one race, apparently. I think that just kind of shows the mentality with the people making period dramas, which really leads on to what we're going to be talking about today with all the Tudor stuff. And you'll forgive me going to my notes, because they're quite extensive. So, first off, just the general state of Tudor dramas as we are in 2026. And I'm aware I'm recording this in April, so well into the year. It's not going well. Anything with period dramas in general, really. In fact, initially, up until the drama, which is going to happen later, I wasn't even going to record anything at one point. Then I thought, I could try and do just a general nothing ever happens video. I got the Chud Jack ready to go. And then something did happen. So bits are happening, but compared to previously, it's really slowed up. I mean, if you think about late 2010s, we had all the Philippa Gregory adaptations like White Princess and Spanish Princess. There was that Mary Queen of Scots movie, and then moving in the 2020s, you had Becoming Elizabeth, the Anne Boleyn series, that horrible Netflix one that still haunts me. And now it is just slowing up a bit. Nothing much is happening. Some of this is because of politics. If you might have been following, how do I address this without causing drama? In the game Victoria 2, the America player is currently involved in a dispute with Persia. That's affected the goods on the international market. The British player, meanwhile, has discovered the tax slider in Victoria 2, and currently looks like this picture on screen. Now, what's this got to do with period dramas? When the economy's not doing too well, maybe the film industry's not going to be doing too well either. And that's definitely filtering through a little bit, I think. There's certainly less productions going to be getting greenlit. We have got a few, which we'll get into in a moment, but one example actually of something that happened last year was Wolf Hall. Well, actually, year before last now, yes, I forgot we're in 26 now, aren't we? End of 24 was Wolf Hall, The Mirror and the Light. So for quite a bit, with obviously this is before the current Victoria 2 game going on. But they had a severe trouble with lack of funding that they had to call off. I think there was a jousting scene they had planned, and it got cancelled because they just didn't have the money. And then Mark Rylance and Kosminski, who was the main showrunner, they actually just took a massive pay cut just to have enough money to make the damn thing. And that was one of the BBC's premier prestige dramas. So if it's like that, it's not going too well, is it? Leading on to that, we'll get into the dramas. And the first one is actually just to my point of things that are probably not happening, is Fools, which, casting my back to the last video I did, this was announced in early 2024, and it's meant to be a film about Mary I and her pet fool, Jane. And as Karen Gillan was going to be in the role as Mary, and Patsy Ferran as Jane. And I forgot to put the link here of who else was in it. I think it was Jim Broadbent was going to be Cardinal Pole, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we are. So it was, Jim Broadbent was Cardinal Pole, Brenda Blethyn in an undisclosed role, and directed by Guy Jenkin. Since then, though, there has been no word, and it's been over 2 years. And in fact, it's not been mentioned anywhere. If you go on Karen Gillan, I can't pronounce her name, I misspelled it, sorry. Karen Gillan, beg pardon. I can't seem to find it anywhere on her acting CVs, nor Patsy Ferran, which makes me think it's maybe something's happened. I did do a bit of research, and I found... Where was it? Have I got it here? Here it is. I signed up for this acting, casting site just for a little bit, just to see what productions were happening. And the last mention of Fools was updated on the 5th of February of 2025. And it's first listed on the 15th of February 2024, and said that it was location of production was the UK West Midlands, and it was due to start shooting in October of 2025, so last year. Nothing happened. The production company is called Paper Epic. The problem is their website seems to be down. It's like, so maybe something might have happened there. And other than that, that's it. That's all the news we have. There was meant to be a kind of some sort of comedy about Mary I, and possibly dead because of, things that have happened. And that kind of shows the general, like I say, just the general state of things. It's they can't really afford to keep doing too many prestige dramas, so that's now leading them to getting a bit creative, which leads to some of the new ones, which there's a couple I'll go into. And the one we have new here is 1536 from the BBC. Now, as I mentioned, the BBC had no money to do Wolf Hall, which was 6 episodes, and they were struggling with that. But the problem is it was actually quite successful. The rate was like, maybe we should do some Tudor drama. What do we do? And so the compromise, for what I can say they come up with, is to do this 1536 one, which is based on a play I was vaguely aware of, written by Ava Pickett, I believe. Yep. And it's amazing because the play only came out, I think it was like last year or the year before or something, and they've hurriedly now decided to do this as a drama. And it's a bit of a weird one to do, really. I can sort of see why, because I've said in the past, like with Tudor dramas, why don't they do like a kind of an upstairs-downstairs type thing? For the young people, that was the Downton Abbey of its day. Well, I'm young myself, only 30, but anyway.
We are so old.
Yeah. And the gist of it is that it's set in just a little village in Essex in 1536, and it's meant to be 3 women who hear about Anne Boleyn getting arrested and executed and how that impacts them. It's very weird, though, the framing of it. So I've got the BBC media release on it, and it's an 8x30 drama, so 30 minutes of 8 episodes. So more episodes of Wolf Hall, but then they're half the length. But there's still quite a bit, to do. But then I guess that's the whole thing. Like I say, it's going to be a small budget. It is mainly just set in a rural village somewhere, as opposed to like Wolf Hall, which has numerous palaces. Apart from I'm not familiar with the play, so maybe there's a bit with Anne Boleyn. I don't know, but it centres around Anna Mariella. I don't know if that was an English name at the time, but anyway. And Jane, 3 young women gossiping, arguing and dreaming in an Essex village, desperately waiting for their lives to start. When the news reaches them that King Henry VIII had his Queen Anne Boleyn arrested, the 3 of them never suspect this act will change their lives forever. As the weeks unfold, Anna, Jane and Mariella notice a rising tide of Puritanism. I don't think they mean literally Puritanism, because I think we're a bit before that period, and misogyny. They attempt to navigate marriage relationships, betrayals and births, but as the fate of a queen in the Tower is sealed, they discover that being a woman in a volatile country is dangerous.
Domestic violence.
As their own fates come into focus, the three desperately try to hold on to their friendship, but can it last, or must they turn on each other to survive? A darkly comic and terrifyingly relevant story, because Anne Boleyn being beheaded is very relevant in this year, I guess, about friendship, sisterhood, and the changing world. 1536 is a series that explores how the actions of a man in power changes the fate of working-class women on the edges of the country. Like, was Essex on the edge of the country? That's not far from London. Is there somebody in London who's written this? Like the thing, like is Yorkshire like a mythical place to them? It asks if a king can murder his queen. Yeah, he did. 2 of them, actually. What does that mean for women elsewhere, and how much have things really changed? Now, again, unless King Charles III suddenly has a Camilla executed tomorrow, I think things have changed. That is such weird framing. Also, like, trying to say, like, women be more concerned about Anne Boleyn is like, I think in 1536 the main thing most people were concerned about is the dissolution of the monasteries. That would have been way more on people's minds than Anne Boleyn for the ordinary people in the field, because it's like the monasteries are the centre of just like social life with giving of alms, charity, and then that's taken away from them. Wasn't it a bad summer that year? Was there the harvest? I can't remember. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, I think that had been more on people's minds than politicking in London. Really, I'm not saying the downfall of Anne Boleyn wasn't impactful, but it's like this idea. It was like women were doing hunky dory, and then Anne Boleyn got executed, and suddenly like what became The Handmaid's Tale. Very strange. But the BBC's decided this is one they're going to do. Now, at the minute, obviously, it's only just been announced, so we don't know the casting, and that's about it. Further details will be announced in due course, so that's one to keep an eye on. I imagine if the BBC get it into production, probably pre-production, if they start filming maybe the end of this year, next year, could be 27 we get it, but I think that's going to depend. And like I said, I can sort of understand doing something set vaguely in the Tudor period without having it be just court politics like Henry VIII and stuff, but then this seems like very modern framing, which, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself a bit here, but just don't like the sound of that. Yeah, it's alright, Bruno. Sorry, if you hear yawning, that's my dog. Bruno, he's obsessed with me, and he sleeps at the bottom of my bed and doesn't leave me, even when I'm recording, so... It's 9:30 at night when I'm recording this, by the way, so if I sound very tired, it's because I am. I'm about to fall asleep. I'm doing quite well. I'm whizzing through this, so mainly because I know I've got the drama coming up.
Don't touch it! It's the history eraser button, you fool!
I'm going to mention this one. This is tangentially Tudor drama. It's not really, because it's a kids thing. I'm only mentioning because somebody the other day just asked me about it, but the BBC is also, or CBBC I should say, so the kids BBC, when they're doing a Tudor sort of set series called The Lady Grace Mysteries, which is coming out actually in about a week or so, I think, from the time of me recording this. So by the time this video's out, it will be out. It's apparently based on some books that were written in the 2000s. I'm not familiar with them. I'm familiar with the sort of thing, though, because that is basically a massive genre, is like kind of set something in like a historical time period or something. So when I remember was... it was ancient Rome. I think it was Pompeii. I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up afterwards. Where it was some Romans running around like Pompeii solving mysteries. They're teenagers or kids. So it's that kind of type of thing. You write somebody and plot them in there. I mean, I'll just read the announcement for it. So, Kulabi Productions, Cottonwood Media, and ZDF. Christ, how many bloody studios are making this? It's more than The Hobbit. The studios, along with the broadcasters, the BBC, ZDF, and France Télévisions, have teamed up, I assume, for new live-action tween detective series, The Lady Grace Mysteries. Filming scheduled to take... I'm assuming it's not written by an Englishman, so it's probably... And this was back in 2024, this was announced, late 24. Filming scheduled to take place in the British Castle during spring 25. Based on a best-selling children's detective series, 10 times 24, so again, because it's a kids one, it's quite simple. Not like something like Wolf Hall, obviously. Commissioned by the BBC, The Lady Grace Mysteries, which targets 8 to 12-year-olds, tells the story of Lady Grace Cavendish, the world's first female teenage detective working as a private spy for Queen Elizabeth I, and navigated the dangerous waters of royal politics in an English court full of plots, thefts, and mystery. Orphaned but fearless, Grace has spent her youth outwitting palace guards, avoiding the responsibilities of being a lady-in-waiting, and most importantly, finessing the fine art of swiping jam tarts. With her best friend, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, I'm about to fall asleep here. Lady Grace Mysteries feels so fresh, it gives our viewers the opportunity to spend time in a really exciting period of history And here's the magic words, but in a modern and standout way with a modern and standout lead. I'm going to ban the word modernity when I get any sort of political power.
Mike's on. Oh, no, it's on.
We are delightful to be part of this wonderful new adventure. It's about a girl who protects and saves Queen Elizabeth using her own resources and her teenage friends. Oh, God, how many people are involved in it? Sorry, I shouldn't be shocked. Tween viewers, la 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 la, blah blah blah. Okay, here we go. Here's the French one. The historical background combined with a modern tone and the contemporary issues of a smart and inspiring teenager who navigates between boring duties and risky investigations and experiences strong friendships and harsh betrayals. La la la, yep. And I don't know if it's in here, but I remember somebody was saying that it's got such luscious costumes and great sets. And I was looking at the previews of it because there's some pictures on the IMDb, and I'm looking at it, it's like, this doesn't look that lush. It looks very cheaply made. They've recycled it from something else. I'm not going to be too harsh because, like I said, it's a kids thing, and obviously you could literally just change this for like anything. It would work. I mean, you could change it for I don't know. I'll do it now. The Grace Potter Mysteries tells the story of Grace Potter, Harry's long-lost cousin that was never mentioned in the books, working as a private spy for Dumbledore and navigating the dangerous waters of Hogwarts in a school full of plots, threats, and mystery. There you go. Copy-paste is anything, you could do this. But it's, again, like I say, it's not very consequential. I'm only mentioning just because it is technically Tudor-related. It's kind of periphery, so... And also, I'm just trying to find anything I can to delay talking about the main topic, because, good God, this is going to be a long one. I can't put it off any longer, though. We're here. It's Majesty. So, if you didn't see the video at the beginning, you might be aware that, Majesty is in the news. Like, yes, it is. Rewind the clock a bit to the last video. And in fact, actually, this might be a good time for Cavalier in the past to predict something. I'll let him speak, shall I?
Flashback.
But one of the things, there's one of these sort of more wacko theories out there was the whole theory that she was actually a boy. It's a silly theory. It's very stupid. I think they're going to do that. This is just a complete guess. I'm not the only one. I think some other media outlet I'll put up on screen, they also were guessing that it might be that. So they'll have an actor, male actor playing Elizabeth.
End of flashback.
Yeah, I wish I could predict things as well as, like, say, the lottery numbers this well, but there we go. So, to recap, back in December of 2024, ITV announced that they're going to do a proper Tudor drama. And again, like I say, not a kids thing, not what the BBC's doing. No, this is like an actual period drama. This is coming on the back of Wolf Hall. I suspect that's probably why they were inspired to do it, with James Strong directing. And it's be about a young Elizabeth I in the court of King Henry VIII. I won't read out the full... I'll put it up on screen as I'm speaking, because I read it out in the previous video. But long story short, it was basically saying that it's going to be far from a historically accurate retelling, and it's about some secret that a young Elizabeth's hiding at the court of Henry VIII. And the original press release, they described Elizabeth as a young girl, but it was interesting because Production Weekly, which is one of those things that lists sort of like things that are in production, I was able to get my hands on a copy of the December 2024 issue, and she's actually referred to as a young woman in that. I was like, right, that's interesting. So we got Elizabeth sort of during end of Henry VIII's reign and maybe up to her becoming queen, so sort of mid-1540s to, late 1550s. So it's basically just becoming Elizabeth Mark II, but with a bit of My Lady Jane, I guess. Since then, there was no official news, and at one point I thought perhaps maybe it has been cancelled. Or possibly I was hoping it had been cancelled. There was another site called Bectu, which is a union. They actually put up some casting things were coming up, and they listed that autumn 2025 was when it was due to start filming. But then nothing happened, and so actually I probably think it has been cancelled because again of all the Victoria II troubles. But nothing happened. But then in February 2026, there was a little bit of news. Again, I'll refer back to that UK casting site again because that's put some news out. And that was on the 4th of February of this year. They announced that in summer of 2026 in Wales, they would just be finally filming it. So right, now we're getting somewhere. I'm interested, the producer is in this as this little announcement, and he's Sam Ward. And from what I can tell, I think he's worked on more comedy-related stuff. I was like, oh god, here we go. But still nothing on the casting. That all changed around about on April Fool's Day, so just a little while ago. I have the news articles up in front of me, and it's got controversial. So the first one to announce it was The Sun, I believe, and I'll just get the article here. And actually, it was technically published on the 31st of March, so actually it was just before April Fool's Day. Royal trans drama. ITV risks backlash as they plan new TV drama that will explore conspiracy theory that Queen Elizabeth I was trans. You hated Black Anne Boleyn. You hated gay, black and disabled Edward VI. Now get ready for trans Elizabeth I. Oh, God.
It was time for Thomas to leave. He had seen everything.
And initially I wanted that, well, the first thing is I had guessed they were going to be doing the Bisley Boy thing. And to recap, Bisley Boy is stupid. It's not a theory, it is moronic. So, yeah, to recap with the Bisley Boy theory, is this idea that apparently, where it gets wacky, that Elizabeth I, when she was a child, about 10 years old-ish, she died of an illness, and Henry VIII was coming to visit, and they went, oh no, Henry's going to be annoyed with us. Immediately that just debunks it, because it's the Tudor period, people died all the time of illness. Why would they be frightened over that? Also, Henry, not to sound cruel, didn't, well, is that cruel to say he didn't care about Elizabeth? Yeah, probably didn't. He's Henry VIII. He killed her mother. I don't think he'd care. But anyway, according to this theory, Elizabeth dies as a child, and they go, oh no, what are we going to do? Oh, well, let's grab a random ginger kid from the village, that'll do. Well, there's only this boy here. He'll do, right. And then for some reason, instead of just either saying, oh no, she died afterwards, they decided to keep the facade going. Or just get a girl afterwards. No, they just kept it going with this boy for 60 plus years, until 1603 or whatever. But the thing is that this isn't an old theory. It's quite modern. That it got popularised by Bram Stoker in about 1910. It's 116 years old, and the earliest mention of it before then, there's an old article from the BBC here. So David Smith, the archivist at Berkeley Castle, told Making History that the whole story was an invention of a local clergyman, Thomas Keble, the nephew of John Keble, the founder of Keble College, Oxford. Thomas Keble was the rector of Bisley from 1827. He was an energetic and resourceful man, but, David Smith says, he made up the story of the Bisley Boy as a joke. An old grave had been found, there was a child's skeleton in it, and Keble invented the Elizabeth story to fit the facts. When the story got out and years later was written up, it became a source of embarrassment to the High Anglican Keble family. So this whole thing started off as a priest made a joke, and then Bram Stoker, the writer of Dracula, heard about this joke and thought, oh my god, that must be real, and he put it in a book, and here we are, now we've got transgender Elizabeth I. That's a domino and a half, isn't it? Guy makes joke, and then, and just obviously yeah, that's not transgenderism, that's like Bob in Blackadder. That's like you want to say Bob's transgender, no, Bob is a girl pretending to be a boy, that's not the, oh, god. I'm glad I live in rural Norfolk where we hate everyone equally.
Norfolk dumplings
sure are a contentious people.
You just made an enemy for life!
But yeah, so this theory is really stupid, and ITV decided, yeah, this is moneymaker right here, guys. I mean, ITV spent, nowhere near as much. I mean, if the BBC, which is meant to be the main one for period drama, is struggling, what the hell is ITV going to do? And the fact they're filming in Wales as well was suggesting to me they're going to be mainly using Welsh sort of castles and things, which don't look very Tudor compared to a lot of the red brick. At least Wolf Hall got Hampton Court to film at. So yeah, that's not going to be doing too well. And of course, like I said, now initially I did wonder, was this just an April Fool's joke that got out of hand? Nope, it is correct. ITV have indeed put out a thing, if I can find it. Here we are. So this is the casting call. Jill Trevelyan casting, Downton Abbey, Mr. Bates in the Post Office, which is the series that James Strong did previously, is searching for someone to play the fantastic leading role of a bold young trans woman in Majesty, a 6-part series for ITV. Majesty is an emotional and funny alternate history that takes place in the time of the Tudor court. We are looking for someone who can play a character who is intelligent, compassionate, brave, likeable, witty and charming. Good luck with that. The smart, bright child we meet at the start will grow up to be a strong young woman. Appearance, weight. I'm surprised that, they didn't just race swap as well while they're at it. To apply, you must be at least 16 years old by the 20th of July 2026. So that also now confirms as well that the summer rumours in that other article, so we know 20th of July is when they start filming. We are particularly keen to receive submissions from actors who identify as transgender women for this role. Filming date 20th of July to the end of October with the rehearsal. You must be based. Oh, sorry. You must be based and able to work in the UK. That'll be just really funny. Just like you must be into certain types of politics. This is good. No previous professional acting experience is necessary. Oh, this is going to be high quality drama. This really is. And yeah, and there was also another one on this Jill Trevelyan casting one. Can I find the screenshot for it? Yeah, here we are. Yeah, leading role of a young trans woman in the emotional and funny alternate history. Do I need to say no? This is going to be a clown car. And I know people say, yeah, but it's an alternate history. Why are you so worried? Oh, it's like, let's be honest, they're doing this to try and change the history, aren't they? They're not doing it just out of genuine, like, oh, I just want to do an alternate history. They want to change the history, and that's their excuse of doing it. They do this with everything now, and there's just the next one. So, again, I'll just put a picture here on screen. This is my face when I read the news. Possibly sentient boulder remains undefeated. Of course, like I said, once the Sun published this, it was in every newspaper. Oh boy, I mean, in fact, if they cause this much drama now, we'll just wait till the casting gets announced. So yeah, that's some news. What else do we know about it? Not much at the moment. As I said, filming in Wales. Now, it could just be actually that's just where the studio is, maybe. Perhaps in Swansea or somewhere like that, but Cardiff or something, but we don't know any of the other casting. I don't think any other casting calls been put out. We know Henry VIII will be a role, because that's half the premise of the show is meant to be like Henry VIII, in the court of Henry VIII. Now, it does say she grows up into a young woman, so it could be, again, I'm just going to guess, I mean, I'm judging this on the basis of my history brain, that there must be at least vaguely following the history. It could not be, it could just be that she rides a unicorn into battle or something, for all we know. I'm guessing it's going to start sort of towards the end of Henry VIII's reign. He might be around for a couple of episodes. I think they said it was 8 episodes, didn't they? No, it was on the casting call here. 6 parts, sorry, beg pardon. 6 episodes, so 6 episodes, a bit less. Like, he could be in, like, episode 1 and 2 or something. And then I suspect they'll go up to Elizabeth becoming queen, so they could do, like, episodes like 3 and 4 as Edward, and then 5 and 6 as Mary, maybe. And a little bit of Jane in there, perhaps, but unless they stretch it out, but, like becoming Elizabeth did. So, yeah, again, Henry VIII is going to be guaranteed. I imagine Kat Ashley would be, if we're going to have her. Obviously, Elizabeth's main confidant in that era. I'd have thought Edward VI and Mary, maybe Lady Drango should be, because they did study together, her and Elizabeth, but it's also very tiresome. Yeah, other than that, we don't know at the minute. I'm just thinking, what other exciting casting choices could we have? I mean, we could have disabled Lady Jane Grey in the wheelchair. That'd be, stunning. We get to her execution scene, and it's just like, I'm sorry, my lady, the scaffold's at wheelchair accessible. We're going to have to delay your execution. You wouldn't want to hurt yourself, I think was that in a Carry On film? I think that was.
I can manage, thank you, Cardinal.
Don't want you to trip and hurt yourself, Mom.
So we've got that to look forward to. I'll be keeping an eye on it, of course. If we get the casting, it depends how long it takes to make this video. If they announce it like in the next month or two, then perhaps I'll come back and record a little bit and add it on. If not, I'll do it in the next video, because it might even been out by then, for all we know. I imagine if they're filming from July to October, there's only 3 months. They're going to take several months to make it, so I think it'll be like mid-27 before we get it, really. Yeah, so I'll probably mention the casting then, because then that will really explode in drama. That'll be the next, if the Black Anne Boleyn series caused trouble back then, oh boy, this is going to be a nightmare and a half. Anyway, I think that's it. That's actually quicker than I was expecting, but like I said, though, I think we're starting to get to, like, we're running on fumes with Tudor dramas. A few years ago, we were getting quite a few announced each year. Now it's like 1 or 2, and it's all just really controversial ones like this. But things do happen in phases. I mean, like the 60s and the 70s was full of Tudor dramas, then it just sort of petered off until the late 90s. And then there's a flurry and then it petered off, and then we have had this flurry like late 2010s to now. But then again, there's plenty more stories to tell. Badly. But yeah, I think that's it then. I'm sorry I sound so enthusiastic. I'm also half asleep, because it's 10 o'clock at night nearly. Anyway, this has been The Laughing Cavalier, wishing you a good day.